evening, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this live stream. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 6 basic words that you need to master if you wish to master your finances. These 6 words are income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flow. So 6 words that we will be speaking about this evening, and I hope you are relaxed and sitting pretty so that we can have a good evening this evening. I'd like you to join us in the chat and say, how's it? I'd like to hear from you. If there's anything you'd like to ask during this live stream, please go ahead and do that. My name is Judy Vaderman. I am the Chief Wealth Coach and the founder of Weide-Market, and I also am a success ambassador with in partnership with Interweave Solutions. What I teach on this video and during this live stream is predominantly based on my own personal experience. I went through a time where I had too much debt, wasn't coming out with my money at the end of the month. In fact, by the end of the second day after payday, I was already stressing about how I was getting through the month. Today, I am financially free, and I like to share the knowledge and experience I've gained over the past couple of years on this YouTube channel for you so that you can learn from my mistakes. I truly and really want to help everybody, as many people as I possibly can, to achieve financial freedom. I am not selling you anything during this live stream, and for anybody visiting this outside the live stream and seeing this video, check out the links below for more details, and please remember to visit my channel and check out the rest of my content. For anybody joining this live stream, I look forward to hearing from you. So please remember to say, how's it? And ask any questions you'd like along the way. For now, I'd like to just quickly get myself organized here. And we are, that's not the right one. Let me move that one out of the way. Okay, so a little bit about Vaynerchuk. Vaynerchuk believes in sharing the genuine wealth journey. The genuine wealth journey starts with understanding genuine wealth. Genuine wealth is made up of the abundance of finances, but also the abundance of quality relationships, the abundance of health, and the abundance of control over your time. I trust that anybody can hear me for the 0 people that are on this live stream. I had some friends saying that they're going to join us on this live stream, but no matter. I will continue with the presentation that I prepared for this evening, and I'd like to do this, just get myself set up here, and I will be sharing some screen with you. Okay, so on screen now, you can see this is me. The name for this live stream is Start Doing Something for Yourself. And where this comes from is advice I received from a landlord I was hiring or renting from. Incidentally, he was a millionaire, multimillionaire, and he gave me this advice. He said, no matter how much you enjoy what you do as your day job or being an employee, you need to start doing something for yourself. So this YouTube channel is one of those things that I started doing for myself, and I want to share the journey with you on this channel. Start doing something for yourself is focused on something I heard from Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, where he said that don't spend 8 hours working on someone else's dream and then go home and don't work on your own dream. It is so important to be able to listen to yourself, chase your dreams, and be able to move forward step by step, one step at a time, towards achieving your own dreams and being your own boss. Or even if you work the rest of your life, be able to live an abundant life. Tonight, we will be discussing getting back to the basics of understanding your money. So, like I said earlier, the 6 words we will be discussing this evening that are the 6 basics of taking control of your finances are income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flow as numbers 5 and 6. So, like I said, income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flow. Vaynerchuk, if you didn't know that yet, this is the name of this YouTube channel. And here we convey, or we are a community working towards genuine wealth. We aim to give your money a job and live an abundant life without. It's, it's like when you think of going on a diet. You don't go on a diet, a successful diet, by starving yourself. You go on a diet by making lifestyle changes and still enjoying the journey of becoming fitter and healthier. And for me, this is what an abundant life is about. So, who am I? My name is Judy Vaderman, and I am the Chief Wealth Coach and founder of Weide-Market. And I genuinely want to help as many people as I can with their finances, starting a business, and with investing while still living an abundant life outside of their finances. I'm also recently certified as a success ambassador in partnership with Interweave Solutions. And what I teach are things that you can find in books, but I've already read the books that I talk about, and I share the knowledge and experience I gained from exercising and putting these things in practice. For the rest, I talk from personal experience by making the mistakes and doing the experiments of how do I find a better place or a better job for my work, for my money, excuse me. So I come from a place where I had too much debt. I wasn't getting out um, proper. I was getting not getting um, proper value for my money by spending it on things that I did not need, that weren't that can never be considered productive assets. So productive assets is something that allows you to increase your income capacity. For example, a car can be considered a productive asset because it provides you the capability to get to work sooner and to get to home conveniently and safely without having to rely on other things. But you don't necessarily have to buy a 500,000 rand car or even a million rand car. You can get away by just living a frugal lifestyle and still enjoy your life. And this has been my experience. So this channel stands for genuine wealth. And all the messages and videos and content on this video revolves around the concept of genuine wealth. Genuine wealth consists of the abundance of money, which includes your cash flow, your investments, and your income. It also consists of the abundance of quality relationships. And this includes relationships with your friends, relationships with family, relationships with colleagues, mentors, and customers. Genuine wealth is also consists of uh, genuine health. So fitness, physical health, mindset, mental health, spiritual health, where the old age-old saying of healthy body, healthy mind, and vice versa, healthy mind, healthy body. So if you have a positive, healthy mindset, then you already have the capability to create genuine health in your life. And then lastly, control over your time, your schedule, your appointments, and how you invest your time in your life. And you'll notice in the middle here is purpose. I truly believe that everything you do in life should revolve around and be anchored to your purpose. A good way to measure whether you are living your purpose is to look at how you invest your money, how the fruits from your relationships in your life, how you invest in your fitness, and how you invest your time and your effort and your energy. These things will give you an indication whether you are actually living out your purpose or not. So the next thing I want to talk about is the knowledge, research, and experience, which I mentioned earlier on in this video. And it is so important that we consider all these things. I'm going to be talking during the rest of this video about the cash flow quadrants, the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Wealth Chef from Ann Wilson, and Think and Grow Rich are some of the big books that really influence the way I think about money and the way I think about wealth. Cash Flow Quadrants is from Robert Kiyosaki as well as Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he is one of the best or most well-known wellness wealth authors in the world today. And he still does a lot to educate people about finances with his wife. And she also brought out a book called um, Wealthy Wife or something like that, or Wealthy Woman, Powerful Woman, or something like that. So go check her out as well. Um, so I haven't read the book, but if anybody have, please let me know. And by the way, comment below if you're watching this video after the live stream to let me know that what you enjoyed about this video, what do you think I can improve on, and what you'd like me to cover in the next live stream. I'd also like to, I'm planning to have some guests on here. So if there's anybody that would like to come on here and challenge my ideas or contribute to this channel, let me know and we'll get in touch. So let's talk about the cash flow quadrants. You'll see on screen here is a little diagram where we have investments, assets, and analysis of your cash flow, return on your rate of return, and the money that are in all of these circles. And this really is where your cash flow comes in. But I want to talk more specifically about the cash flow quadrants that Robert Kiyosaki coined when he wrote the book Cash Flow Quadrants. Robert Kiyosaki explains that there are four quadrants, ESBI, where the E and the S quadrants is where you exchange time for money, and the B and the I quadrants are where you leverage time and money to produce income for yourself by leveraging this and providing employment for people, as well as doing investments in projects that you feel are worthy or in companies that produce dividend yields and capital growth. We'll talk a little bit more about different income streams later. But it is so important that we understand that as an employee, we can still participate in the B and the I quadrants by using portions of our money to invest in business systems and to invest in companies that produce capital growth and dividend income. Obviously, the more you get income from these things, you want to delve that back into them, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about assets and liabilities and how we balance these things together. It is important to know as well that as an employee or a self-employed person, you can still participate in both of these quadrants, but obviously there are much bigger players in these quadrants. If you don't have the money available to participate in the business or investment quadrants, then you need to consider that you either need to make some adjustments on your spending habits, and you also need to know that you have sweat equity. Sweat equity is the effort and energy and time you invest into generating a business system and finding investments that are worth your income. It is also important to know that as an entrepreneur, at the beginning of starting your business, you operate in this quadrant, the self-employed quadrant. Even if you're a doctor or a lawyer with your own practice, you still operate in this self-employed quadrant because you still have to put in work and effort into your business to make it operate. Once you start moving into a business system or a business owner where there is a system and processes in place that don't require your constant effort and attention, this is where you can classify yourself as a business owner. And then investors, obviously, you can invest in different things and different places. For example, the stock market is a potential place where you could invest. Another place where you could invest are private investments, where you do private deals, and this is called private equity. Then let's look at types of income. Types of income are classified as active or passive income. Now, at this point, I'd like to mention that it is vitally important that you understand that when we talk about the six basic words, income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flow, that you master the how to generate income. So let's say you currently have earned income where you're an employee working for a company and you earn income by trading your time for money. This can be leveraged by only spending a portion of your money and using positive cash flow that you generate into passive income streams like interest income, dividend income, rental income, and capital gains income. Royalty income is obviously where you create some kind of digital asset or a book or some kind of artwork, or NFTs could potentially produce royalty income as well, where you own the asset and people either pay you for using that asset or you get a portion from the sales of those assets. So the different types of income. Earned income is when you work as an employee or as a self-employed person. Profit income you can do as a sideline hustle where you sell things while you are working 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. After hours and over weekends, you can do garage sales, you can do drop shipping or whatever the case may be. But sales from those things are the profit you make from buying a product and selling it at a higher price. This is what profit income is. Interest income is when you use your money to give to someone else. So someone else uses your money to do whatever they wish to do with it, and they pay you interest on that money that they borrowed. Dividend income is where you are invested in either a private equity deal or public equity, where you invest in companies on the stock market and you split that money into different income streams so that you can create more than one income stream. It is so important as well to understand that there are different types of income streams, as you can see on screen, um, through this through this slide, that you can understand that it is important to have more than one income stream. So if you have an income um, from your practice as a self-employed person, or from your job as an full-time employed person, that is your first income stream. It is also really, really, really important that we understand that the millionaires and billionaires in the world work on developing one income stream at a time. So we don't necessarily create multiple income streams all at once, but we create one income stream at a time, perfect that income stream, and then move on to creating a second or third or fifth income stream while as a side hustle, or while we still work full time. We can create this extra income in our part time, and there are so many opportunities on the internet as well as in real life to be able to produce extra income. If you only live and consider yourself as a single employee or a single income earner, then you are one step away from being broke. By the way, just a reminder, if you are new here and you join this live stream, say how's it? I'd like to hear from you. If you have any questions or you'd like to comment on anything, please do that. I'd like to hear from you. If you're watching this video after the live stream, please comment below with what kind of income streams or how many income streams you are aiming to have in the future. Or if you currently only have one income stream, get in touch and let's see if we can solve some of the problems that you're having. Right. Expenses are basically made up of two things. Number one, your wants, and number two, your needs. Your needs and your wants are the only things that you spend money on. I'm probably oversimplifying it, but that's the reality. We want to try and balance our wants and our needs. And our wants should only be spent money on when we have the cash flow available to do that. Our needs are the things like food, shelter, safety, education, well, to some extent, and your health. It is important that we differentiate between our wants and our needs and really get clear and honest to ourselves about what our wants are and what our needs are, so that we don't spend money on our wants frivolously and without a plan in place to do that. When we start spending money frivolously without a purpose, without a goal in mind, our money will just keep on flowing away. And this brings me to the next point I want to highlight. Understanding the flow of money. And this is an extract from The Wealth Chef, which is the book by Ann Wilson. Ann Wilson is the Wealth Chef, and I like her content and the way she portrays this lessons about money. By the way, she is South African, so maybe I'm a little bit biased as far as that is concerned. But she explains that money works like creating a meal in the chef's pantry. And the ingredients we take from the chef's pantry is how we mix these things together to produce financial freedom and financial independence at the end of the day. By the way, I speak from a place today where I am financially free, and financial freedom for me means simply having the freedom to be able to choose where and when I spend my money. I am not completely debt free yet, but I have managed to put my cash flow in under control and bring it under control so that I have cash flow available to choose what I want to do with every month without just giving my money to my creditors. So on screen, you can see that we want to be able to use our income to create assets and pay for our expenses and minimize our liabilities. So the idea is that we use our income to generate or build up assets so that our assets become generating or get to a point where it starts generating income, and we use that income to put back into our assets and grow our assets even more so that we generate this snowball effect from our assets generating income, plowing it back into our assets and developing our assets, getting income from it and doing that continuously while we live off a portion of our earned or profit income. Once we have a sustainable stream of income from our assets, then we want to start getting to a position where our assets start paying for our liabilities, and our liabilities are the things that create expenses in our lives. Simply put, assets are things that bring money into our lives, and liabilities are things that take money out of our lives through the expenses that it incurs. I would suggest you go find The Wealth Chef. It is a fantastic book to read and gives so much simple insight about how money works and how money flows between our assets and our liabilities. Next up, the dreaded B word. Truly, a budget is a game changer if you use it as a tool to manage your money rather than just a list of expenses. A budget is not just a list of expenses. A budget is an essential part of building financial freedom and financial independence, and eventually building a genuine wealthy life with an abundance of finances in your life. It is so important that we measure when we start. If you've never created a budget, it is so important that we take a look at where we are. Where are we right now, and what does our finances currently actually look like? We need to measure this, write every expense down, and be sure of how much we owe who, and we need to stop hiding and running away from the responsibility of managing our money like grown-ups. Instead of hiding it under a mattress or just not simply looking at it, so that we can actually know what is going on with our finances. Once we have measured our finances and we know what we spend on which things in our lives, then we need to determine what don't we need. So I saw this clip the other day that said many times we consider success and growth and progress as adding things in our lives. We need to add better habits. We need to add finances. We need to add investments. In some cases, we truly need to determine what we don't need in our lives. Maybe your breakthrough is sitting in cutting things out of your life, subtracting things from your life that cost you peace of mind, things that cost you quality relationships, people that don't bring peace or provide support in your life. In all four of the quadrants of genuine wealth, we truly need to determine what are our wants and needs. When we look at our finances, we need to determine what are our wants and needs as far as finances are concerned. When we look at our relationships, which relationships do we need in our lives and which ones don't we need? Which people do we spend 80% of our time on, and which people do we spend 20% of our time with? Then in our health quadrant, we need to determine what things do we need to eat and what things do we want to eat. We need to cut some of our wants out so that we can build proper, genuine wealth in our lives. And then with all of these things combined, we need to determine what do we need to spend time on, and what do we want to spend time on. And as I'm talking about this, you can see how all of these four quadrants, the finances, the quality relationships, the health, and the time, how all of these combine to create a life of genuine wealth, and how all of these have a relationship with each other so that we can have genuine wealth in our lives. So it is so important when we look at our budget to determine what we don't need to spend money on. Then once we've done that, we need to determine, where do we want to go? What are we aiming for? Where is our destination? Where do we want to get to? So let's say you want to have 50,000 Rand of passive income on a monthly basis. How do you get to that point? Obviously, you don't snap your fingers and get to there by just opening your eyes one day. No, you actually need to determine what you want to go do, and then determine which steps are necessary to get to where you want to be. How much do you want to spend on your education? How much do you really need to spend on grocery shopping? Do you really need the luxury home you live in? Or do you actually need to find a better place to stay in? How much money are you going to spend on that? Your traveling, your holidays, your savings, and your relationships. How do you budget for all of these things and still live an abundant, wealthy life? This brings me to what I want to talk about, structuring your budget. Now, on screen are some things that obviously we don't keep in mind when we start spending money, especially if you haven't budgeted ever in your life before. So these are some guidelines, and you might not match some of these things in your budget or be able to get to it right now, but this is something to work towards. If you haven't heard of it, the 50-30-20 rule states that 50% of your take-home pay should be spent on living expenses. That, in other words, are things like your house, your car, your transport, your food, and those kind of things. Then, according to the 50-30-20 rule, 30% of your take-home pay should be spent on enjoyment. The things that you enjoy doing, the things that make you happy. And then the last 20% should be spent on saving and investments. For me, I would say that putting aside an emergency fund should be a priority if you don't currently have an emergency fund in place. It is so important that you make money available for all of these things on screen. The guideline is that 25%, not more than 25%, should go towards housing. Not more than 10% of your take-home pay should be spent on transport. Less than 10% should be spent on living costs. In other words, food and bills and insurance and all these kind of things. Retirement. You have to put money away for retirement. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a retirement policy per se, but you have to put savings aside for one day. That could also include buying a retirement house, buying a retirement car, but you need to put money aside for this. Then 10% of your take-home pay should be donated, should be given away to people or places or organizations where you don't necessarily get anything back from that directly. It is so important that we as income earners provide means for people that don't currently have income for whatever reason, but we need to be able to make a difference in the lives through the blessings that we have received in our lives. There's no point in having all the money in the world for yourself and the rest of the world is falling apart. We need to contribute to the greater good somehow and somewhere. Then 20% should be contributing towards our savings and our investments. It is vitally important that we put money aside for these things. We need to invest in companies that can produce extra income for us, can produce capital growth, and we need to use this money to build assets in our lives. This is what is called giving your money a job to do. The great thing about money is that it continues to work 24/7, 365 days a year. While you rest, while you take a break, while you go on holiday, while you get sick, your money, if you give it a profitable job to do, will keep on working and producing more profit for you as long as you do it under the guidance of people who are knowledgeable and wise in the spending and creating of income. This is a direct quote, or rather an indirect quote, from the richest man in Babylon, which has made a major impact in the way I think about money. And then, of course, you have to put money aside for having fun, for enjoyment, for just splurging on yourself. Other people like Shaquille O'Neal, the famous basket player, would say that only a quarter of your take-home pay, you can ball out on that. I recently had a video on my channel as well where Kevin Hart says the same thing, that he only lives off 25% of his income. Now, I can already hear you saying that that's easy to do when you have that kind of income. But believe you me, everybody starts at zero. You don't just snap your fingers and have that kind of income. Which reminds me, I want to play this clip of Gary Vaynerchuk. He's an American entrepreneur and business owner. And excuse the language, he is a bit of a foul mouth, but the message behind what he says is so important when we think about creating passive income in our lives. Let's take a look.
I have a question about passive income. And
Okay, when you say passive income, do you mean what do you mean?
I mean not having to work all day long. I want to be on a beach in Mexico instead of being on an office in Sweden in cold November.
Are you being serious right now? The quickest way to not be on a beach in Mexico is to think that passive income exists. I think the reason so many scumbuckets are making so much money is because you're buying stupid fucking courses over and over, thinking there's some fucking magic formula for passive income. Passive income looks like this. You take money that you can afford to go to zero, and you put them in the two places that have historically created passive income. Public markets, that you don't care if it goes up and down and you just wait to the end, or real estate, and you hope that your real estate area doesn't get crushed. Everything else almost doesn't exist.
So, like I said, apologies for the foul mouth, but the message is that passive income doesn't come just by snapping your fingers or putting your money in the savings account. Passive income comes through putting in the work and the effort and gaining the knowledge and experience of finding deals and finding investments for your money to generate the income that it requires. Generate dividend income, generate capital growth, and you need to understand how you get that money out from those assets is the way you make money. Next, I want to finish off and thank all of you for watching this video. For those who have joined me on this, I appreciate it. Now, how do I stop this now? stop sharing. There we go. Thank you very much. I see we have one guest that came in. Apologies, but you're a little late. Say how's it in any case. I'd like to hear from you. It was great doing this live stream. Next time, hopefully, I can have some more people on here joining us. And I will keep on doing these live streams because I believe that there is value to be added with people understanding the basics of money. In summary, we spoke about the 6 basic words that we need to be able to master if we want to master our finances. These are not those. Those are not the words. Let me just go there quickly. Sorry, apologies for that. The 6 words on screen right now that we need to master in summary, in closing of this video, is income. And we need to understand how to generate income and how to increase our income and how to keep our income. Then expenses, where we need to balance our wants and needs and really get clear about what our wants and needs are. Then assets and liabilities, where assets are things like rental properties, investments in private equity deals where we provide funding for a startup, or we invest on the stock market where these things produce income for us. It is also so important that we understand the liabilities in our lives that produce expenses and which we need to cut down to a minimum if we wish to generate wealth in our lives. The cash flow is the way money flows in our lives. And we looked at this diagram by Ann Wilson, the wealth chef, where she explains that we want to have our income generate and develop assets so that we can generate income from those assets and reinvest those income back into our assets so that we can cover our expenses and pay for our liabilities eventually from our assets rather than from our active earned income. Check out the links in the description. Feel free to comment below with what you think are the most important types of income. And I'd like to hear from you regarding some of the other content on this channel as well. Take care, be blessed. I'll catch you on the flip side. Cheers.